Welcome back to my channel. I'm James, and this channel's for everyone worldwide who likes great movies and great TV series. Today we're going to dive into The Beatles, A Hard Day's Night. This is the brand new 4K Ultra HD restoration and release, and this is actually from Criterion Collection. And I'm going to be doing my exclusive image comparisons between this Criterion Collection 4K Ultra HD release and the previous Criterion Collection Blu Ray release. And that's something I do exclusively here on this channel. So if you're not subscribed yet, make sure to go down there and hit that subscribe button. Now, this review is going to be slightly different than some of my previous reviews. I'm doing something a little different here. I'm going to do kind of a short, quick review to get out more content in between when I'm doing some of the longer, more in-depth reviews. So this is something new and it will be a little bit shorter, but don't worry, I haven't given up on the reviews that all of you love. This is just something to get you out something a little faster. Now, talking about The Beatles, A Hard Day's Night. Basically, it came out in 1964. It's a very hard movie to explain. It's not a musical, it's not a music video, it's not a movie per se in the sense of with a long scripted story or even really a scripted story that you can follow along with very well. It's enjoyable, it's very comedic and lighthearted. It's basically the Beatles taking a day in their life and making it a little bit more comedic and lighthearted of basically the fans chasing after them and kind of acting zany. But it is kind of one of those things that is a slightly acquired taste for some people. So going into this thinking that this is going to be a scripted story about the Beatles' lives or basically how it is for them, it's not. It's a very lighthearted, comedic, kind of just zany, jumps from one scene to the next without really a heavy scripted story. So keep that in mind if you haven't seen this movie. It's not one of my all-time favorite movies, but it is enjoyable, it's zany, it's kind of out there, and it's got great music. If you like the Beatles music, the Blu-ray of this or the 4K of this is really a must-own item if you're a Beatles fan anyways, because it is kind of like an extended music video with talking sequences and things like that in between it. So it is really, really a Beatles mania type release. Now, the movie runs about 87 minutes long. Aspect ratio you're looking at is about a 1.75 to 1. This is on the 4K Ultra HD, a native 4K 2160p. Now I'm going to show you up above here the original Blu-ray screenshot of what this looks like. Now obviously it's a black and white film that came out in 1964. Now they did a new restoration, which basically they took the original restoration from the original Criterion Collection Blu-ray and then basically put it in a native 4K on this new 4K Ultra HD release, which I will show you above there as well as you're seeing. Now image quality wise, just to touch on it briefly here, this does have a nicer looking image than the previous Blu-ray because it does have slightly more detail, more clarity, and with the Dolby Vision on this, it does look drastically better than the previous Blu-ray if you're watching it on Dolby Vision. This is where I kind of talk about a black and white film. Unless the original black and white, basically Blu-ray that was released, like I did a review quite a while back of the Universal Monsters collection that they did the 4K release on that. That was a drastic difference. The new restoration they did on that 4K with the HDR support and things on it made it look drastically different. This one does look good, but this is where it's going to kind of come into my review score later on in this. It's just not as drastic because the previous Criterion Blu-ray was so much better done than those original Universal releases from that Monsters collection. In this case, the difference between the Blu-ray and the 4K to me just wasn't as heavy. Now there's one more caveat I'm going to add in that. If you are watching this new 4K Ultra HD release on a Blu-ray player that does not support Dolby Vision and your TV does not support Dolby Vision, keep in mind I did notice on my LG UBK80, which doesn't have Dolby Vision, versus my LG UBK90 and then also my Panasonic UB820s, both of those that I have, there's a big difference on the ones that supported Dolby Vision. So like the Panasonic ones, those when the image did look drastically better in Dolby Vision and it was lighter and brighter. I thought there was more detail, more noticeable because of the lighter being so much lighter and the dark scenes, things like that. The Dolby Vision did bring out a better image there. Whereas on my LG UBK80, the image was quite a bit darker. Even the light areas, like where it was white in the screen because it's black and white, it was just slightly dimmed and slightly darker. Now, is it night and day that it's going to be a make it or break it? I don't know, that's up to your preference, but I'll always share with all of you honestly what I see when I do the testing between all of these. And that's what I did notice. Basically, in my opinion, if you're gonna get this and you're gonna upgrade from the previous Blu-ray, it would be if you have Dolby Vision, in my opinion. Now, the HDR10 looked good, don't get me wrong, if you have HDR10, it did look decent, and it's still an upgrade over the Blu-ray. It's just the real big difference, in my opinion, was that Dolby Vision. So that's what I did notice. Now, as always, I will have the link for this listed in the description section right below this video. When you get done watching this review and you get my total review score, if you do decide you want to pick up this and add this to your collection, make sure to go down to the description section right below this video or to the comments section. I will have this as a pinned comment in the comment section below, the Amazon link, to go out there and buy this. So that way it takes you straight out there. Same cost as everyone. There's no extra cost to you, but that does help support this YouTube channel just a little bit. So when you get done watching this and you see my total review score, if you decide you're going to pick it up, I ask that you go down and click through one of those links. Now, it does have English subtitles on it, and it does have 3 audio options on it. You're going to get an LPCM mono, then you're going to get an also LPCM mono 2.0 in English, and an English DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. Now, to quickly show you what you get in this set, basically it comes in one of these cardboard sleeves that they've been doing on these 4K releases from Criterion Collection. And it's a cardboard slipcover here. It slips out here just like this, and here's your cardboard. Then when you get to your main thing here, it says A Hard Day's Night. It opens up, and there's an actual book in here, and this is actually one of the thickest books I've seen in a Criterion Collection release yet. The book is outstanding in this, and I really did like the book. Then you get your 4K Ultra HD disc here on top, and then you get your Blu-ray right below. Now on the 4K Ultra HD disc, it is on a BD100. I always love when they use BD100s, and it is region free. Though the Blu-ray is a BD50, and it is region A locked. Tested in all of my players, my region A, B, C, Xbox, PS, didn't matter. All of those, this did come out as region A locked. So if you're wanting to import this through that link I put below, keep in mind you'll be able to play the 4K disc, but the Blu-ray is region locked, so you will have to have a region-free player if you're outside of region A, so basically outside of US, Canada, Mexico area, you'll need a region-free player for the Blu-ray disc. Talking about the book for a second here, it is really nice. It has tons of photos and articles and just really goes into talking about what went into this movie, behind the scenes things about the Beatles. So again, if you're a big Beatles fan, this is a really, really nice addition to your collection. So talking about the movie here, basically, as I said, it's an enjoyable movie, but it is not my favorite movie, and it's actually an acquired taste in my opinion. Each one of us is going to have opinions about whether they love it, whether they disliked it, whatever the case is, I'm just giving you mine. So if you love this, great, this would be a great addition to your collection. But for my review score for this, based on basically the difference between the HDR10 and the Dolby Vision, and then also because of the upgrade between this and the previous Blu-ray releases, so for my review score on this, this is going to get an 8.9. If you own the previous Criterion Collection Blu-ray releases that I previously talked about, I really don't feel that this is such a huge upgrade that it's worth the $40 to $50 that Criterion usually charges for these. Sometimes you can get them on sale, and maybe if you get it on sale, then fine. But in my overall opinion, that 8.9 is basically if you've never seen the film, you want to watch it, you love the Beatles, and if this is your first time buying it, then the 4K is obviously the one you should buy. But otherwise, if you own the previous Blu-ray release, it is kind of a how much of a fan are you? And that's where I can't tell you and I can't make that decision for you. All I can do is share with you what I see, what I hear, and what my opinions are on it. And as far as because of the previous Blu-ray release being done by Criterion, this one does look good and it is an upgrade, just not as heavy as some previous upgrades on other releases that I've done over the years reviews here on my YouTube channel. So I hope all of you really enjoyed this short kind of getting out a mini review here, a little something quicker just to kind of fill in the gaps between when I do my longer, more in-depth reviews. I know a lot of you have asked me to do this one for review, and because this wasn't just one of my favorite movies, I didn't really have a ton about the movie that I just absolutely loved. So I kind of felt like this was a good one to do, kind of a little shorter, quicker review. 8.9 is a good review score for it. It's definitely a recommended title. It's not going to be one of those movies that, in my opinion, I would sit down and watch over and over and over again, though. So that's where I said that 8.9. It's kind of how much of a fan of the Beatles are you? Huge fan? Then you gotta own it. If you're kind of not as big a fan, you like their music, but you don't want to kind of sit through something a little zany without kind of a continuing, easy to follow story, then maybe it's not for you. But as always, I will be upfront and honest with all of you, and that is my opinion on it. If you enjoy my content, make sure to go down there and give a super thanks. Right down there's a super thanks button. That's how I afford to keep doing these reviews, testing them, getting them in, spending my money doing these reviews and putting all this hard work into this. So if you enjoy my content, make sure to go down and give a super thanks. That does go straight into these content, straight into these videos to pay for the software and all the things I have to get to provide all this content for you. So if you enjoy this, make sure to give a like and a thumbs up as well. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. That way you're notified right when I release any of these videos. I hope all of you enjoyed this new type of review today. I'm going to try to stick some of these in and out throughout time now, give you some new different ways to watch some of my content. I hope all of you have a blessed day, and as always, I've got something new and exciting always coming out very soon.